Thank goodness and welcome everybody. My name is Susan Johnson Cronin, Susan Johnson and Associates with eXp Realty, and this is our For the Love of Real Estate episode number 9. Episode number 9 today is all about growth, and so I just want to kind of talk a little bit first. So if you're new to us and seeing our Facebook Live here each Thursday, it's at 10 a.m. and some weeks are for sellers. Some weeks are for buyers, some weeks are for both. Some weeks are just about really for anybody. And that's one of those classes today on growth is really for anybody and everybody because it's not just real estate related. Okay, so and then other times it's specific to agents and agents growing their businesses. So I wanted some kind of a format that we can just, welcome everybody involved that wants to come in and join us. And even if we do talk something specific in real estate, you may find out that it really applies to any business that you want to apply these tools and techniques for. So today's topic about growth, and it may be something that you think, oh gosh, we already know about that. We've heard about that. But if you know anything about me, you know that I'm going to go deep and dig deep like I always do. And so we're going to get very specific and very purposeful in this conversation. And I really hope that you sit back, join me, friends. And, if you're having a cup of coffee here, or, think about us just sitting at a winery with a glass of wine, or just hanging out in the living room talking and sharing how we can all grow together, whether it's personally or professionally. Today is all about you and all about growth. So basically, if you want to keep leading your life, leading a team, leading anything, you need to keep learning. So I have to ask you this one question. And the question is, what is your plan? What is your plan for personal or professional growth? What is your plan? And, many people think, well, I'm working really hard. I'm really climbing that ladder in my corporation, or I'm working really hard in my business, and I have a business plan. I work my business plan, and I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about your life plan for growth. And I think what happens when we come up to this subject is people are always just thinking along the lines of their businesses, and that is one aspect, but you also need to really look within and think about your personal growth. So I need to propose to you this, people don't just automatically grow. It needs to be very intentional. Okay. This was a huge awakening for me back, I would say around 2008 is really where the light bulbs came on. And sadly, when you go through, some challenges, which we all do, Facebook can make things seem like everything is so fabulous and wonderful all the time. And yet, we all are human. We all have challenges in our lives. And it was, for me, around 2008 was a big year, not just with the real estate market shifting and everything else, just personally, I had a lot of conflict going on in my own life. And I really had to take a time out and look within and say, my gosh, what do I need to do differently to grow from this, to learn from my mistakes in the past, to move forward and to have a more positive life where I'm actually attracting great opportunities and meeting wonderful people and working with wonderful people. And for me, it was, going into Anthony Robbins, and a lot of you have heard that before if you follow any of my episodes here or know me personally. But for you, it might be something else. Joel Osteen is a real big one for me too. But anyway, Anthony Robbins was a big event that I went to, and it really made me focus on personal growth. And all the years before that, it was, what can I do to make my business better? Well, what about making myself stronger, my family stronger, my whole life as a whole healthier and happier? And that growth and that experience for that weekend was life-changing for me. So ask yourself that same question. What are you doing and what is your plan for personal growth? And by the way, it doesn't happen in just one weekend. All right. You've got to be very intentional and very purposeful. And the secret actually to success can be found in somebody's daily agenda. So your daily agenda will tell you a lot about what you're doing, not just for, again, professionally, but personally, to feed your soul and to grow from within so that you can always be better at, being a better mom, being a better wife, being a better, significant other, being a better business person, whatever it means to you. Okay, so I'm speaking directly to all of you that are out there listening right now. If you want to be a good leader, you really need to be a good learner. Okay, so as I said, you need to be very intentional. When you're intentional, you're going to move closer to your potential in anything and everything that you do. Okay, if you're not really intentional about any kind of a growth plan for yourself, sadly, what tends to happen is your potential over time slips away a little bit. Have you realized that? You'll meet people all the time that'll say, well, gosh, someday I intend to do this, and someday, I'll do that. And, someday just never really seems to arrive, and their potential slowly slips away. And then they kind of accept, they're just more accepting of what is versus what they could be. Am I making any sense? Hopefully I am. So again, if you want to be a good leader, you've got to be a good learner. Remember, leadership, we are all leaders, leaders of our own lives, leaders of our families, leaders, again, even if it's just you and yourself that you're leading, you are leading. And you need to be a good learner. Okay, you need to be a good learner. So if you don't have that personal plan for growth, then, please listen on, because we're going to go and dive deep, as I mentioned earlier. So how are you going to grow? What does that mean exactly? Growing means really, investing in yourself, investing time in yourself, investing in, yes, it is money too sometimes, going to some of these events, taking time to learn from others. People, again, going back to the business side of things, what's the one thing, I'm going to ask you this question, and so think about it. You might even want to put it in the comments. I do see we're finally live on Facebook. So put in the comments, what's the one thing more than any other that's going to determine the growth of an organization? What is that one thing? Well, the answer is, and if you haven't put it in the comments, or maybe you're just thinking yourself, what's the one thing that's going to determine the growth of any organization? And the answer is the people. The people determine the growth of that organization. Okay, so, but hang on a second, it doesn't stop there. What determines the growth of the people? That would be the leader. The leader will determine the growth of the people of the organization. So pay close attention to this and really, again, look within yourself and where you're at and see if any of these kind of things are happening for you so that you can get where you want to go with your own life. So as long as people are following you, let's just say you are the leader, all right? And people are following you. They're only going to be able to go as far as you go. Okay, they're only going to be able to go as far as you go. So if you're not growing, they're not growing. That's pretty important to know. All right, so investing in yourself is really important because, as I've mentioned in past episodes, I know when I coach and consult agents, for example, in real estate, I'm always teaching them to turn and teach somebody else. All right, when I work with my buyers and sellers, it's really about, a lot of it's educating. Consulting, not salespeople. That's a whole other topic. I think I'm going to add on, because there's a great keeping current matters topic on choosing the right agent. And the agent that you choose should be an educator, not a salesperson. All right. So in any case, investing in yourself so you can actually educate others and actually help consult people in their growth. All right. Sometimes, this is kind of a little cautionary side note here. Sometimes investing in yourself could look selfish to some people. Sometimes you might get some pushback from maybe close friends or family members or something like that. And they're like, well, gosh, why are you spending your money on that? Do you really need to be gone this weekend from your family? Do you really need to spend that money, and invest in that course? Why do you really need to do that? You're already doing this so well. Why do you have to invest in yourself? And sadly, the people that are criticizing you may not quite understand the whole concept of growth. So maybe they can hear this today and it might be of help and support, because they're going to soon find out that the investment in yourself will benefit, especially if it's your family members, them significantly. All right. I like to use an analogy here. Think about when you're on an airplane and you have a flight attendant, for example, and the flight attendant comes on and she says, okay, everybody, you know, if there's an emergency and you want to actually, the face mask and the oxygen masks will come down, you put your oxygen mask on first, and then you're going to go help the kids, the family, or anybody else who might need help. Why do you think that's so? Again, everything rises and falls on leadership. And people will follow the leader, but you need to invest in yourself. You need to grow so that you can give. Folks, if we have better parents, our kids are going to do better, right? If our parents, you know, the parents are strong and doing really well, the kids are going to do better. Would you agree with that? Hopefully you're in our comments and hopefully you can answer yes to this. What about students and teachers? If the teachers are investing in themselves, if the teachers are learning and growing and finding new ideas in ways to reach and tap the potential of their students, don't you think the students are going to do better, right? So students will do better when teachers do better. Okay, I'm going to say salespeople. I really prefer to say consultant, but salespeople, guess what? Customers will actually do better when the people who are salespeople or consultants, when they invest in themselves and they know more and are able to educate, then customers will actually do better. They will be better decision makers, for especially in real estate when they're making, you know, they're making big major decisions for their life. In a real estate investment, it's really important. So salespeople, you know, or consultants, as real estate consultants, think about that. When you become a stronger agent, you understand more about your contracts and everything. You understand more about the whole process. You know, with a buyer or a seller, you can consult them through, and the transactions usually go much smoother, by the way, because you're able to consult them ahead of time so they're prepared to make the decisions that they need to make. Hopefully I'm not rambling on too much, but these are all very important things to understand about growth and investing in yourself. Tribes can't get better. I say tribes. I don't say just employees. I don't believe in a lot of that. I believe that we are tribes. We come together for a better purpose, not just for the owner of a company, not just for the leader of a company, but for everybody in the organization. So I call everybody a tribe because I believe that, you know, win-win or no deal. Win-win or no deal. When the leaders are getting better and stronger and they're helping their tribes get better and stronger as well, everybody is succeeding together. So again, think about that. Invest in yourself. One of the other things as a leader you need to do is you need to be, like I said, being a learner, you also need to know how to follow. Okay, to be a great leader and grow, you also need to know how to follow. And I love the coining the term and using the phrase standing on the shoulder of giants, one of my favorite phrases, because it's so true. Again, real estate or not, think about what you're doing to grow and know that people have done it before you. Don't think you're alone. Find and seek out those people who have done things where you want to go and say, hey, I'd like to learn that, study, and, you know, and duplicate. You know, get some coaching and consulting. And, you know, when you have that mindset of that growth, then you'll understand that standing on the shoulder of giants, you know, means you follow as well as you lead. All right, you learn from other people. All right, so being that continual learner, what will happen is your business will go, if we're talking business now, or your life, you know, you're going to be always going up, and as you grow and you'll hit a certain area, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm comfortable here. This is where I want to achieve. But guess what? There's another level. And did you notice I went like this? There's another level. Watch my hand. Go up. You need to break through. And then you break down to break through again. What's the breakdown? The breakdown is your investment. It's your learning curve. It's your time to grow again. It's your time to seek out more people to help you. It's your time to ask more questions and be a better learner, because guess what that's going to do? It's going to take you to a whole nother level. There's always another level to go. It doesn't mean you're not content on where you are. So don't ever misunderstand that. Please don't live in, I'm never going to be content and happy with my life because my destination is always in the future. That's a scary place to be too. You don't want to have a destination to determine your happiness. The journey is the happiness. Got it? The journey and the growth is the happiness. And it's fun and it's hard and it's challenging, but oftentimes another thing that could happen is that you can get to a place that you're like, man, I'm making the income I want to make. I'm living the dream. I'm at the level. I've climbed to the top of the ladder and I'm here. I've arrived. Folks, we really have never arrived if you get in the mindset of growth. Okay. You could get to a place where maybe you're financially, you're set, you're all ready to go, but guess what? Maybe your mindset and your growth might then be to teach. Maybe your growth and your mindset might then be, forming a charity or giving back in some way, something that's going to feed your soul and also create others and to continue that growth. But when you get into a place, or if you get into a place that you find yourself kind of stagnant, and you start slacking off a bit, that's kind of a dangerous place to be in. I'm saying slacking off, not take a vacation. You need to take a vacation. I just took one. I'll talk about that later. It was a great vacation with my daughter to Idaho, but to help her with college, it was exciting and scary at the same time for me as a mom, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about slacking off where you think, okay, everything is in autopilot now. I don't need to do anything else now to grow. I don't need to do anything else. That place is a dangerous place. And when you stop learning is the moment you kind of stop leading. Yeah, I did say that. When you stop learning, you stop leading. Why? Because you've got to be continuing to learn to guarantee that hunger that continues that drive. And quite frankly, it also establishes your credibility with the tribe that you're among when you're leading them, because things change. Now I'll shift into business a little bit, especially in the real estate world. My gosh, things have changed dramatically. I've been doing this over 20 years now, and I can tell you that, especially with the whole internet and lead aggregate systems and everything else, there's a huge change. And if I tried to do business the way I did when I first got in, I might not even be in business today. It's not the same. We've got to shift and we've got to learn and grow. And our tribe needs to see us boots on ground, walking the talk and taking the actions that we're teaching them to do as well. Contracts, I know in our real estate industry, change all the time. So staying on the edge and updated on your contracts. Another thing, mindset. Mindset is a continuous growth experience that you go through. I hope I'm not shooting with you with a fire hose here. Hopefully you're sitting on the edge of your seat going, what am I missing? Or what if I may be doing that? Check, great. I didn't get that portion and I'm not doing that right now. And I think maybe I will tap into that today, take some action today to tap into something I'm talking about here. So it's important to stay on that, that mindset, and to also keep learning and growing, keep the attitude that, another thing is to keep the attitude that everybody you meet, you can learn something from. Okay. And that doesn't mean you're a taker. I'm not saying go and meet people just so you can learn something from them. You just happen to learn something when you meet a lot of great people. And you'll also, quite frankly, you'll be contributing back to them too. It's an enrichment. All right. It's not just a one-way take. It's a give and take. All right. I really encourage mastermind groups. Mom's mom groups, dad's dad groups, any of your business, there's co-networking groups. There's lots of different groups you can get into. And why do I encourage these for you? I encourage them because once you start surrounding yourself with people doing things at another level, and maybe they've hit some challenges you're just starting to come across, then you can mastermind with them on how to navigate through those things, and you can grow. Some of my best experiences as a team leader for Keller Williams, I was the team leader for nearly 4 years in North San Diego County, and I got to tell you, one of the most tremendous experiences of my life. And honestly, I just loved that role. We did amazing things with my market center down there in North San Diego County, Carlsbad. And I probably never would have left that role, only I had a 3-hour round trip commute every day. And my daughter was getting into high school and playing sports and all that. And I wanted to be there. I didn't want to miss those times. But without getting too much off my track here, mastermind groups, we would travel throughout the nation and go to mastermind groups. I still do, in fact, go to mastermind groups all the time. But what you're going to find is when you meet new people out of your inner circle, and I think that's the problem a lot of us get into, is that we stay with our normal group set, which are great, but you need to meet new people. You need to get out and meet people that are in different market areas, because you're going to find that if you're talking real estate, for example, real estate's pretty similar running your business throughout the nation. Okay, the markets might be slightly different, but quite frankly, your business and your business strategies are very, very similar. And so thereby, when you go to mastermind groups, I've met people from New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Florida. I've said masterminds where I met people from Canada, and it's just super exciting because you're able to continue those relationships and grow from those experiences. So if you're not in a mastermind group now, seek one out. There's women professional roundtables. There's all sorts of things that you can, reach out and get involved in to continue your personal journey of growth. So mastermind is something I highly, highly recommend. So just again, keep in mind, the greatest obstacle is not ignorance. Okay, so your greatest obstacle is not ignorance. It's not the lack of, of intelligence. In fact, it could be the illusion of knowledge. It's very dangerous when you think you know it all. I definitely don't know it all. Okay, I try to share with you things I feel very comfortable and confident with, and that I feel like I can help you all with, because I traveled that journey on my own, or I've been trained significantly in it through the years of masterminds and coaching and everything I've been through. So I try to share that with you, but I got to tell you, you don't know it all. And so it's interesting when I meet with an agent and they're, I try to teach them something that I think, well, when I ask them questions first, the first thing I'll do is ask them questions about their business. Find out, well, goodness, where are the gaps in their business that they need to bridge to help take their business to another level? I'm just using this as an example, plug it in wherever it fits in your own life. But where's the gaps? Because it's different for everybody. For one person, it might be, they're getting lots of leads in, but they need to learn how to convert their leads. Another person might not have any leads coming in. They need to learn more about lead generation. Another person might be going on all sorts of listing presentations or buyer consultations, but they never know how, they're not, getting the contract signed. Well, that means their presentations need some work. Where are the gaps? Understand? So that they can bridge that gap and grow. And it's scary to me when I meet agents, and I do meet them, and I'm starting to find out where their gaps are, and I might offer some suggestions, but they come across and they come back with, oh yeah, I know that already. They know. Well, that's not very coachable. So ask yourself, are you coachable? Are you coachable? Because if you think you know it all, I'm going to tell you now, you don't, nor do I. And change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. All right, come from curiosity. Seek first to understand. Always be curious, ask curiosity. If there's, somebody doing something that you think it's pretty fantastic, ask them. It's always surprised me, as a I'm not saying this to brag at all. I was a top agent in my brokerage for a number of years, and I would offer multiple times. I'd say, okay, everybody, goodness, I've got all sorts of tools I can help you with. If you want to stop by and come see me, and there'd be maybe 1 or 2 people that actually would come in and ask. And it surprised me. I don't know whether people are afraid to ask for help, because you should not be afraid to ask. And there's other ones that are just hungry for it. When you're hungry for it, that you can learn something from other people. You'd be surprised at how many people are willing to share. And I've become great friends with some great agents right here in Temecula Valley, actually in San Diego, all over the place. But, in this last year specifically, where I've reached out and said, hey, you know what? I just relaunched my own agent business like 2 years ago. And, these are some of the challenges I'm having now, stepping back into a market that, things have shifted. What are you doing? Because this is how I used to do it, but that's not working anymore. So tell me about what you're doing. And they're so open and willing to share. It's insanely incredible. And that's what happens when people have a mindset of growth. They're not worried about, oh my gosh, it's my secret. If I tell you, you're my competition. No, 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 no. There's enough business out there for any one of us to be successful beyond our wildest dreams. You just need to align yourself with some great people who are willing to share it and help you. And you've got to ask the question and ask for the help. All right. So let me bring in a couple of quick things here. Most people fall into one of three categories. First category is something called the challenge zone. So see where you're at. The challenge zone is, your self talk is typically, I'm going to attempt to do what I haven't done before. That's the challenge zone. I'm willing to take on that challenge. I'm going to attempt to do something I've never done before. Yeah, it's scary, but you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take on that challenge, and I'm going to attempt to do something that I haven't done before. Then there's the comfort zone. You know what? I do what I already know I can do. I'm not going to challenge zone. I'm just going to say right here in the comfort zone, I know that this works. This is what I do. Well, my only concern for you, if you're sitting in comfort zone, is things will change, as they always do. And you need to, really look within and say, goodness, how am I going to handle that when those things change? Or what's the growth going to look like? And who am I leading? Okay. The last one, which is called the coasting zone. Coasting zone, that one is, gosh, you may have heard people around you say this. I don't even do what I've done before. Yeah, I used to do that, but I won't even do that anymore. All right, I used to do that. Those were the days I used to do that. And I don't care what age you are. All right, I'm 56. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm 56. And, I started this business in my mid to late 30s, actually. I wish I'd started sooner, but in any case, 56 now. And yeah, there's still a lot of things that I could say, yeah, I don't, I've done that before and I'm not going back there to do it again. But that's kind of a coasting zone. So what zone are you living in? What zone are you living in? Think about that. We all actually, every one of us started our life in the challenge zone. We did. We were all babies, and we all had to learn how to eat and to stand and to walk and to laugh. And we go into school in our school years, our formative years. We're taught to push ourselves, and we have to obtain certain grades. We have to, in order to graduate, there are standards. We've got to set those standards. We've got to reach them, to be able to continue to grow. Right? That's growth. And then we graduate, and then we get into the real world. And then people are not going to tell you, hey, you don't have to go to school. If you go into college, nobody's going to say, hey, you didn't show up to class today. Guess what? It's all on you. So it's really, it's really a sad day. And it's a pivotal moment in our lives when we decide, oh, I think I'm just going to coast and I'm not going to grow anymore because nobody's making me do it. That's where you have to look within and say, set your standards, raise your standards for your life. Raise your standards on what you want to accomplish. Business, personal, family, charity, whatever, whatever it is, physical, whatever you're doing, raise your standards. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. Leadership and learning are indispensable. That's a quote from John F. Kennedy, actually, but they're indispensable. So invest in yourself, be a continual learner. All right, we're getting towards the end of this, but your third here is create a growth environment. So ask yourself a question. What environment am I in? Create a growth environment. The average person, I got to tell you, most people are not in environments that are conducive to growth. They like to think they are. They're with people that they really like, and they're around a lot of nice people, and that's okay. Be friends with a lot of nice people. But are you in an environment that's conducive to your growth, personally and professionally? All right. Are you in that environment? sad to say, but the average person is actually going to try to pull you down instead of rising above average. I know that sucks to hear that, but it's kind of true. Have you ever noticed when you have something kind of a bummer to share? Like my last week when this didn't broadcast live on Facebook, it was a real bummer. Boy, I gotta tell you, I was really bummed. And it was funny how many people posted when I finally put my, my post up. I'm so sorry today that, all of a sudden now it's like, but they've never posted on the positive things, but on the negative things, it's there's a post there. I know when they want to be supportive, but think about the people in your life. Are they supporting you through your wins? Now, it is important for them to be there through your challenges too, but who's cheering you and who's championing you on your wins? I did pause purposely. Who's cheering you and championing you? Championing. I love that word. Who's cheering you and championing you for your wins. And average people stay average. They but the road to success is uphill, and a lot of people don't want to pay the price. I have this big poster behind me. There it is. You'll see fear, failure, no sleep, judgment, rejection, discipline, sacrifice, hard work, uncertain, perseverance. Then you see success. And all this is the under the water. People don't see what's behind the scenes, everything that goes into everything you're building and growing. All right. Who are you surrounding yourself and who's cheering you and championing you? I can write it better than I can say it. But in order to grow, you must get out of a stagnant environment. Okay. When I coach and consult agents, I'll often say, if you're not hitting your goals for some reason, I do things very directly, but I also wrap the warm blanket around. I don't want to make people shame, and that's not how I work at all. And yet I wouldn't be helping them if I didn't kind of hold a mirror up sometimes and say, hey, these are your goals. This is what you said you wanted to accomplish because you wanted to do this, this, and this for your family. So if you're a leader, you should really be understanding what are the goals and what are the big whys for the people you're leading, and how can you help them attain that? All right. Get out of that stagnant environment and be around people that are going to, again, help drive you and push you a little bit out of that comfort zone. All right. So you have a responsibility to yourself, no matter what you're doing, to create that positive environment for growth. And so what does that look like? Here's what it looks like. When you're in an environment of growth, the other people that are around you, not everybody, because there's going to be people that you bring in and you're going to be helping them too, but there are plenty of other people around you who are ahead of you. And it's okay. All right. They're ahead of you and they're going to help pull you through too. All right. They're going to help bring you to new levels. But there are people that have done more than you when you're in an environment of growth. All right. If you're in an environment and you're putting yourself into situations where you're the only one that has done something and nobody else has, that's not going to help you very much. All right. You can teach and learn. That's great. But you've got to be in an environment that's also going to be helping. Again, remember the oxygen mask. You're continually challenged. All right. You're continually challenged. Are you being challenged to do new things? Are you being challenged to use new systems? Are you being challenged to, to study something different? Are you being challenged to stay current on your contracts and write some sample contracts? I do that all the time with agents. Are you being challenged to shoot videos that you've never shot before? Are you being challenged like I was to do this? And we're in week 9 now of Facebook Live. Yeah, this was a challenge for me because I hadn't done it. I teach a lot of live classes, but I don't do a lot of this, and I'm doing more now, as you can see. But it was a challenge for me to get a camera put in my face. I'm just more natural when I'm live. But in any case, and I feed off the audience, and I get the audience involved. So this was a little bit scary for me to not have people right there in front of me to be teaching. You're continuously challenged. Okay, the next thing to your growth environment. Your focus is forward, not in the past. Folks, we've all made mistakes. Who cares? Get over them. You learn from them. But we're focusing forward. We're not living life looking in a rearview mirror. Okay? You're driving forward and you're looking to growth. That way you're in a growth environment. The atmosphere is affirming. As I mentioned, when I'm working with agents, and I bring up the contracts a lot because I'll do the contracts class. I teach the residential purchase agreement, by the way, for SRCAR, for their for the Board of Realtors. So I teach the contracts, and then I'll do classes called writing sample contracts, and I let agents know, listen, you're in a safe environment. I don't care how many mistakes you make. And guess what, agents, if you're seasoned, I don't care how many mistakes you make, because this contract changes at least twice a year. And guess what, we're coming up for a big one, you guys. They did push it off, but watch it for the next year. Huge, huge changes to the residential purchase agreement. All right. So your atmosphere needs to be affirming. All right. Growing, but affirming, not shaming. Very important there too. It's going to push you out of your comfort zone. Yeah, it will. All right. Any kind of growth gets a little bit uncomfortable. Remember, that's why I did this. Break down to get breakthrough. When you have people helping you to break down to break through, you're just going to do things, like I said, a little bit more uncomfortable. But once you start doing it more, practicing it more on a regular basis, you're going to find out, my gosh, I'm actually pretty good at this. I can actually do this, and your confidence level goes through the roof, and it will show up in every area, of your business and your life, personally and professionally. You wake up excited again. You're excited to actually, go to work or do something for your family, or, you're excited again. I mean, it's funny. Again, I've been doing what I've been doing in real estate, for over 20 years, and it surprises the heck out of me. But my husband might say, gosh, you're talking real estate, meanwhile, my friends and everything, we love what we do. We talk it all the time because it juices us, and we learn from each other, and it's exciting. Failure is not your enemy. Okay. God knows I've fallen a million times and failed. I mean, we all do. We fail our way forwards. I mean, if you're not failing at some point, or falling down and making a mistake, hey, you're probably just not challenging yourself quite enough. All right. So don't play life safe. It's going to be okay. Don't worry so much about what other people think either. Get over that too. Don't worry about what other people think. Good grief. Others are growing. Others are growing around you. You're seeing and you're celebrating with them. It's so exciting. I've got a couple new agents on my team, and as they, goodness, one of them I just brought on, Tyler, I'm calling you out. Hopefully he just got on the phones for the first time. He was in the phones on another job, but calling our leads, and and he spoke with, he got an appointment, actually down a good appointment. He connected me with this lead, but he's making his calls, and you can see the confidence rise up, and you can hear it in their voices, and it's exciting to see that, and then agents get their first deal in escrow, or they start closing more, or maybe they were with another company, maybe they're not brand new at all. Actually, Tyler's not. He came from another company over a year, and no business, no transactions done, so why now is he all of a sudden? Because he's focused and he's in growth mode. Okay. Same thing with Candace. She came to me from another brokerage, no transactions. Now she's she's already got 5 or 6. She's already in escrow in. But my point being is, because we get focused, we get growth oriented, we teach, we learn, and we grow. So others are growing. People desire the change. All right. I always talk about this. You'll see me do a little alignment. This means alignment. If you ever see me do this, that means you're in alignment with other people that are moving in the same direction. If you feel you're here, everybody may be very nice, but it may not be in the alignment for the growth that you need to be in and you want to go in. Okay. So people desire the change. When I meet with agents that want to come over to our organization, for example, I'm not saying my team, I have an agent team that's different. With EXP, we have our organization too. You can come over as a solo agent. I'm looking for people who are in the desire to grow. Okay. We're not looking for a bunch of people, a bunch of umbilical cords that that don't want to do anything. That's not it at all. We're here for getting in that synergy, that environment of growth. So people desire change. And the last one, which is really, really, really critical too, growth is a model. It's modeled not only by the leaders, it's modeled by everybody in the whole organization. Get that? And it's expected by all, not just by the leader. Everyone is expecting each other to grow, because that's the tribe. You hear tribe being thrown around too a lot, loosely. When I say tribe, I'm talking about really people who are committed to their growth personally and professionally. Okay. So creating a growth environment is going to transform your organization and all the people in it. That's what that growth environment. I'm super excited. When I get off this call in about 5 minutes, I've got another one I'm jumping right onto. That's huge for our organization. I can't wait to share that. But being around others that are, doing these things are going to help juice us as well. Small people will put small limits. Great people will encourage you to do great things. All right. Don't let yourself get limited. So let's wrap it up. There's some application exercises I want you to ask yourself. There's 3. Number 1, do you have destination disease? What is that? Well, make sure you have a long-term personal growth plan. Are you thinking I'm only going to be successful and happy when I get somewhere? Okay, that's not the way growth works. So do you have that destination disease? Okay, that's not a good place to live in, and it's not fun, and it's not healthy. So again, environment is important. What is your plan? All right, what is your plan? Are you going to go to, right now everything's being canceled still from COVID, but you can certainly go on YouTube. You can certainly sign up and take online, courses on Anthony Robbins or, Grant Cardone or, anybody that's going to help you to continuously grow. Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Brian Feeney, whatever it's going to take. I'm throwing out real estate stuff a lot too, but anything that's going to help you grow is highly encouraged. Listen to CDs, listen to podcasts, something that's going to feed you every day in your growth. That, what is your plan? Put that plan into action and write it down. Lastly, are you creating a growth environment? As I mentioned, I gave you that checklist. Internalize that and ask yourself those questions. Are other ahead of me? Am I continually challenged? Am I focused on moving forward? Is my atmosphere affirming? Am I being pushed out of my comfort zone? Am I excited when I wake up in the morning to get things going? Am I afraid of failure? Am I willing to go ahead and take some risks to move myself forward and be okay that, if it doesn't work out, that means I need to approach something differently. And I have a lot of people around me that are going to help me get there. Other people around me are growing. I see that, and it's inspiring for me to see that. The people around me are also desiring the change, so they're committed to learning. They're learning based. You're around learning based people, and the growth model within your environment is expected. It's expected that you model it, and it's expected of you. It's expected by everybody around, because we all grow and learn off each other. So I hope you really enjoyed today's topic on growth. And, even though you hear about this topic, again, I want you to slow down, just like we did with passion, the topic on passion, and revisit that within yourself and get yourself quiet. Get yourself quiet and ask yourself some of these questions, because your life will change dramatically when you start aligning yourself, with growth and with other people in an environment that's going to champion you in all of that. So go on, have a magnificent day, magnificent weekend ahead. It's already Thursday, my goodness. Speaking of growth, I'll wrap up right now. As I mentioned, I was in Idaho. My daughter got almost a full ride scholarship to College of Idaho in tennis and academics. I'm very proud of her. We just got back from Idaho, and although it's sad for me as a mom, I'm so very proud of her, and it's a great example of growth right there in action. And again, being a mom is my biggest role in life. So all the business stuff is great too, as you can see, and just thrilled to live the journey with you. And I hope you enjoyed today. All right. High five, everybody. Next week, oh my gosh, next week, you got to come back on Thursday. I've got Rosie Rodriguez. She's built multiple companies. She's got over 1,000 people that she's brought over into our organization. She's just incredible business person, coach, consultant, trainer, the whole bit. And I'm going to have Rosie Rodriguez as my special guest next Thursday. So look forward to that. Take care. Bye now.